everyone. I'm one of the campaign managers here at Birchal, and I'd like to welcome you today to Cabernet Noir's webinar. So just before I introduce Ankit and Eddie, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land I'm coming to you from today. Birchal is based on the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and we pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. Today, I'm joined by Eddie and Ankit from Cabernet Noir. Birchal is working with Cabernet Noir on an upcoming crowdsourced funding offer. So, what is crowdsourced funding, or CSF, you may have heard it referred to? Crowdsourced funding, or you may also know it as equity crowdfunding, is a relatively new form of fundraising in Australia that allows startups and small businesses to raise capital from a large number of smaller or retail investors and wholesale or sophisticated investors through an online platform, which is Birchal. Instead of seeking funding from traditional sources such as banks or venture capitalists, companies can turn to the general public, often their communities, to raise money in exchange for equity in their business. Birchal Financial Services will be the licensed intermediary for the offer. The information and discussion in this webinar is for informational purposes and should not be considered as advice or a recommendation to invest. Please always do your own research and consider the offer document and the general CSF risk warning before investing. And if you want to find out any more information on that, you can head over to birchal.com. So, how today's session is going to run, Eddie and Ankit are going to take us through a great presentation, which will be about 15 to 20 minutes, all about Cabernet Noir, where they've come from, what they're looking to do with their capital raise. We'll then switch to a Q&A session. So if you look to the bottom of your Zoom screen, you'll see a little Q&A bubble. And if you have any questions during today's session, please just pop them in the Q&A box as we go along, and then we'll answer them at the Q&A time at the end. So we are recording today's session. So if you do need to jump off early, a recording will be sent around. So without further ado, I will hand over to Eddie and Ankit.
Thanks, Ellie.
Thanks, Ellie.
First of all, welcome everybody to our presentation. My name is Ibrahim Donuts. Ankit Soni.
Yeah, I'm Ankit.
Co-directors of Cabernet Noir, and I'd like to take you on to our presentation for this capital raise. You've got a unique opportunity here, and I want to tell a little bit about the brand, how we came to be 12 years ago. So yeah, let's start it. This is our team. As you can see, we have lovely, beautiful people on there who's very, very talented at what they do. And a little bit about Cabernet Noir. So Cabernet Noir, I opened the store 12 years ago now. It means black room in French. I do like the word noir. I have a film degree, and French noir has been my favorite genre, and noir has always been such a good word to use. Always wanted to open my own shop since working at Foot Locker and Adidas. That's always been a dream, to open your own sneaker store. So managed to have some funds and open up, either buy a house or open the store. So I decided to open the shop in 2013. Our first store was located in Shafter Lane, which was the busiest laneway in Perth CBD. So we opened that in 2013, started with some sneakers and Japanese denim. And then later on, we started to get into luxury fashion. This is something that I fell in love with. Brands like Comme des Garçons, Public School, and so on. It was a big passion of mine, as well as sneakers. Then in 2019, we had the opportunity, we got invited to move into Rain Square, which is Perth's luxury precinct. Basically, Louis Vuitton moved over there, and Rain Square was, hey, do you guys want to join us? This is going to be the biggest luxury precinct in Perth. And no brainer, we said yes. So we directly located, our second store was directly located. We moved to the Deuce location behind Louis Vuitton, next to Gucci, Tiffany's, and so on. That's in 2019. And then here, as you can see behind us, we are actually sitting in our third store, our second location, third store in Karrinyup Shopping Centre. Again, another opportunity came. Karrinyup Shopping Centre, which is currently the number 2 and number 3 busiest shopping centre in Australia. They've been killing it recently, and everyone shops here now. And yeah, they've been wanting us to kind of revamp the shopping center with adding more menswear and luxury goods in the center, which is we're in a very, very unique space here. And tomorrow's our opening launch party. Actually, you'll see more of that content later on. So as you can see in this page here, our brand's been loved by everyone around the world. We have celebrities like Jay-Z, John Jones, French Montana. French Montana is actually our biggest ambassador for the brand. A lot of UFC fighters come in to buy our brand. So that's something that we're really proud of. And yeah, let's move on. So 2013-14, I initially invested 250 grand into the store, and surprisingly, within that first 12 months, we did over $1 million revenue. And that allows us to get into the luxury fashion industry, which we took in 2014 through 2019. The way I got into luxury fashion is by literally going to Paris Fashion Week and knocking on the showrooms. Hey guys, I'm store from Perth. Would love to see the collections. And then brand like Undercover, Off White, um, Public School, and so on. Halo the Mill, they all kind of, oh, we don't have anyone in Australia, so we'd love to talk and negotiate. And that's how we get a lot of these brands, basically just knocking on the door, having good network and in Paris. And I've been going back and forth to Paris the last 10 years. We were one of the first people traveling to Paris Fashion Week and built that sort of connection with the industry there, as well as New York and Milan. So 2014-19 was our sort of evolution into luxury fashion. Like I said, we moved into Rain Square in 2019. So we are basically in the luxury precinct of Perth CBD. Then during COVID happened, we closed down like everyone else did. And surprisingly, we still managed to average $1 million a year through online sales. And we still, unfortunately, we're still open. They allow us to trade. So we're still making a little bit of money. But, that year actually will be also the year where we start thinking about our own brand, because we noticed the trend is everyone start investing in Cabernet Noir. Our customers shifted from buying luxury goods to buying our own brand, and we noticed a lot of demand for Cabernet Noir brand. And we're proud that the last 10 years we averaged $1 million of revenue. Market size as of 2025, the global revenue in luxury fashion market amounts around $150 billion US. And Australia's luxury market is valued approximately $3.21 billion US. We see projection indicating annual growth of 3%, potential reaching 3.6 billion by 2029. So there is a massive increase. Well, it's increasing demand for luxury fashion, and we notice also in Perth where we are, there's a massive demand of luxury fashion here because it's nothing provided here. Basically, people for Perth are sick and tired of having to travel outside of Perth to buy, and this is where we come in. We supply them. Cool. Concept store. So, what we would like to with this raise, we'll talk about it later with the capital raise. We how we're going to use the funds. One of them is for future expansions. Retail experience is very, very important for us. So we like to open concept stores. So this is our first concept store in the little laneway called Shutter Lane, and we've created such a cool environment, also community here. It's a 90 square foot store, and it's inspired by Japanese and aesthetic in New York sort of boutiques as well. So we were there 2013 to 2019, and then we moved to Rain Square, which is the luxury precinct, as I mentioned before. And this concept is all concrete and more luxury, hence the aesthetic of a gallery-like vibe. And then this year, we actually moved into this even bigger space, 200 square meters space, Cabernet Noir in Karrinyup Shopping Center. And we're actually installing these power lines to be in the middle of that showroom gallery floor space, and where you can actually hang clothes on there. So we always want to build a cool Instagram-friendly installation within the concept store, each one of our concept store. That way customers come in and take photos of it. I'm like, look, this is the store with the power lines, or this is the store with a cool bike. And just another way to grab attention from our customers. These are our next future concept that we want to do. Eventually, we like that sort of minimalistic aesthetic, and we're going to carry through with the branding of our own brand as well. Cabernet brand. So we are trying to redefine Australian luxury fashion by making affordable luxury brand. So there's a huge change in consumer behavior. So the rise of millennials, Gen Z, the younger consumers are now smarter with their buy. No longer are gone are the days where they'll spend $400 to $600 for a t-shirt. They would, they want to buy something similar quality or for less of the price. And this is where our brand comes in. Our brand, we produce by one of the best factories in the world. We use the most premium quality cotton, and still very, very affordable. Our t-shirt sits at $160. So very, very affordable for a luxury brand. So we desire quality over quantity. So a lot of these products we produce, we don't even produce over 100 t-shirts per SKU. we stopped it and we designed a new collection. So the way we do things here, I like to think of it as fine dining restaurant, Michelin star restaurant. We're not a fast food chain, so we don't do things quickly. We curate our product, we design our product slowly, and within, so once we're happy with the product, then we'll release them into the market. So yeah, as you can see, accessible luxury fashion brands like Represent Cole Buxton are demolishing the market at the moment. Their growth is insane. So we project that our brand will do very, very similarly to them. Now, our brand strategies. So we are basically bridging the gap. Affordable luxury brand position himself like Zara and between Zara and the Gucci end. Like I mentioned before, brands like Represent, Martin Rose, APC, Palm Angels, they sit really nicely in between those two realms. And for us, storytelling is the biggest thing. And we're proud to be an Australian luxury brand. We're proud to be Australian, having Australian crew in here, all our designers from Australia. We'd like to, represent our culture. And that's where we want to take our brand to the next level once we go to this next stage of delivering our collections in Paris Fashion Week, which we will talk about soon. So there's a huge also direct DTC approach. Our profit margins for our products are insane. We're seeing about 60 to 70%. Some of the products we see profit margin of 80 up to 80%. This is what drive our business forward and also increase our profit margin. Yes, it's cool having all these luxury designer brands like behind me here, but they're only sitting about 50% margin. And with the market kind of going up and down, we see there's more likelihood of people buying our own brand. So, and with a higher profit margin, it's no brainer to push more funds into our own brand. Cool. As you can see, we do two collections, spring, summer, and autumn, winter. This is what we will be doing moving forward with our collections from a wholesale point of view and also from doing runways and Paris Fashion Week. So capital raise. This is how we're going to use the funds. We're going to divide it into three. So first of all, the brick and mortar operations, we'd like to expand our brands list, acquiring 10 more exclusive designer brands, and potentially looking into new store in Sydney and Melbourne. There is a huge demand for our brand in Melbourne and Sydney. So whenever you see people wearing Cabernet Noir, in Melbourne, Sydney, they know we're from Perth and we have such a strong brand identity here. Secondly, we're going to use the Cabernet Noir brand stock to increase our inventory, to do more marketing, to do more collaborations and celebrity placements. So celebrity placements is a great way to get our brand out there. We don't usually knock on us celebrities, hey, do you want to wear our brand? Usually it's the other way around. Their stylists will contact us, hey, French Montana or MPH from UK is doing a show here. They've passed me on your brand. They've been following your brand. We would love to fit them in your collection. And then I talk to the team. I'm like, hey, so-and-so wants to wear our brand. What do you think? And also it has to kind of go with our branding. For example, if someone, having issue with the PR in the public domain, I wouldn't name any celebrities, but I wouldn't put them in our clothing. So we're very mindful of who wears our brand. So yes, increasing inventory is very, very important. Like I said, our profit margin for the brand is huge. So we want to focus more onto the Cabernet Noir brand and expanding our collections everywhere in different markets. And lastly, Paris Fashion Week. This is a big one for us. In order for our business to scale, we need more stockers. And in order for our DTC to scale, we need more brand awareness. And to that, they go hand in hand. So the more stores carry our brand, the more we increase our sales through our online D2C e-commerce. So in order to do that, we need to create hype. In order to do that, we have to show our collections in Paris. Paris is the fashion hub for all the fashion industry. They now fly to Paris. Before we have New York, LA, and all that, Milan. But now most buyers, most informed people in fashion, they come to Paris to view collections and new brands, new upcoming brands. So we've been offered a deal with one of the biggest showrooms in the world. They're based in Italy and one based in Japan. They would be interested in taking a luxury fashion brand from Australia. And right now, I can only name one or two other brands. And even then, they're not really doing what we're doing. They're very different. They're more contemporary designers. So we're going to, hopefully we can sign a deal with them and then showcase our collection. This is where a lot of the funds will go towards sampling, producing 2 to 4 collections a year. So yeah, we want to expand our stock list to our existing markets like UAE, Asia, Europe, and America. We are big in Saudi, surprisingly. The people of Saudi love our brand. Again, I'm not sure, maybe because the quality. Yeah, so we have a really good, strong representation in Saudi and some countries in Europe and America. So, so we've done a fashion runway earlier last year, and this is we had about 400, 500 people turned up to our first runway, which is insane. Again, we have such a big community back in our brand, so we love to see more of that, and hopefully we can take this to Paris Fashion Week. So yeah, the crew behind it, it's a lot of people to do one runway show. So yeah, we want to acknowledge them as well, give them a lovely shout out. So yeah, and also this little baby here, which you can potentially have. This is how we build community. Each shareholder, there's a different tiering of how you can invest. And to qualify for this metal card here, there's a pre-requirement and it's all numbered. So obviously the number one is our top shareholder. So we want to give them a reward as a single digit number. So having this guide will build a community, and we have a dynamic QR code here as well. So this allows us to connect with other shareholders from different industry who love the same passion, luxury lifestyle, and so on. We have such a big network within our community. And yeah, we'd love to kind of connect everybody in those communities together. And yeah, having this card is just a nice way to kind of, hey, I'm one of you too. And I really, really hope you guys can be part of this community. We have such a strong belief for our brand, such a strong demand for Cabernet Noir. I've been loving this brand since, I'm being biased because I started about 12 years, been working hard 12 years for this brand, and I see much, much more potential this year. And moving forward, I'd like to get everyone involved into the movement. So yeah, would like to offer you to join the movement, guys. Did I miss anything, Ankit?
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys. If you just want to stop sharing and then we'll just go over
Mhm.
to the next part, which is the question and answer area. So if you haven't already, if you could just drop your questions into the Q&A bubble down at the bottom there. And I'm just going to kick off with why have you guys decided to raise and do equity crowdfunding opposed to other types of funding that you could have gone down?
Well, for us, it's again building the community. For me, like I could get one or two investors, what so not, but for me, just why get just one or two? Well, where I can get everyone who actually, and also I want to open opportunities to a lot of our customers as well, our
Yeah.
fans, the people who actually love the brand. And I've seen a lot of people just wear Cabernet Noir. The whole wardrobe is just Cabernet Noir.
It's like fortunate to everyone who loves the brand. They
Correct.
feel and be proud of something wearing. Oh, I own this as well. So it's building community instead of just having one silent partner or one silent investor. And
Yeah.
so
And also, like, the ones that actually invested are actually the one who knows and love the brand, and that's what we want. Passionate about it. So, yeah, so that's I think is a great way to raise capital.
Definitely. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Ankit, if you want to move a little bit closer to the screen just so they can hear you a
Yeah,
bit. Awesome.
sure.
Amazing. Just moving to the next question. So, where are the Cabernet Noir clothing made? Can you specify which country, and how they were chosen? Did you guys go out and sort of visit factories, etc., and sort of just discuss that a little bit more?
Correct. So factories is a tricky thing. As you know, there's a lot of bad factories out there, and a lot of factories that have, to be honest, like people make fun of before they make fun a lot of made in China stuff. Our stuff is made in China just because now we see, their production's insane. They're actually doing better quality, and we've seen the factories in person. We're like, wow, this is better than like and to be honest, like it's where it's made subjective, right? So this will learn the hard way. Made in Italy stuff doesn't mean it's sustainable and doesn't mean it's ethical.
Yeah.
I've seen people actually the made in Italy factories. It's still sweatshops,
Yeah.
just to kind of label, hey, we're made in Italy. Same things made in Australia. I've seen sweatshops in Australia, so that's something that we're aware of and we want to expand on. So right now we're made in China. There's a factory in Portugal that we're seeing as well. That our next production will go through Portugal.
adding to that, yeah, it's more about the fabric that we choose. So the fabric might be stitched in China, but the fabric, like even this one is the
Japanese
Japanese
fabric.
fabric I'm
Yeah,
wearing
correct.
here. So it just depends on what kind of material we're trying to choose and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And we have another question from the same person that's interested in, are you intending to introduce female clothing to your lines?
Absolutely. So the next season we're introducing Diesel, which never came to Perth before, never like in Australia. I think we might only be the only one carrying the runway collections. Brands like Praying, there's a lot of female designer brands that are amazing, and this is something that we want to expand. Right now we're seeing growth, and in fashion, a lot of it is quite unisex per se. It's like, I've seen guys wearing women's stuff and vice versa. A lot of brands doing women's wear. So yeah, that's definitely a big market that we want to tackle into.
Awesome. Yeah, that'll be exciting. Next question. How many exclusive designer brands do you currently stock in your store?
Exclusive. Yeah.
Exclusive. So Cole Buxton is exclusive to us in Australia. Diesel is gonna be also exclusive to us in Perth. I'm not sure what other stores will be carrying it moving forward in Australia. So with Palm Angel's gonna reintroduce as well back into Australia. They're great friends of ours, and so we'll be the only stockers for Palm Angels. Helen the Mill will be the only one exclusive. So there's at least I'll say 10 to 20 exclusive brands that no one will stock in Australia, only exclusive to Cabernet Noir. And I build the brands to a level where I think a lot of these a lot of designer brands want to be in our store. So we're quite picky with adding a lot of these brands. I'm quite mindful with it, and whether they'll work in our market is a big questions as well.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm seeing a few questions come through here that are kind of relating to information that will be released in the offer document. So in terms of sort of exits and sort of capital. So just to let everyone know that all of that information will be in the offer document when it goes live on the 18th of Feb. For as long as you've expressed your interest, you'll have early access to that offer document from the 18th before the offer goes public. So I won't ask any of the questions on here, but you can absolutely go to the offer document when it becomes live to find out all that information. Moving on to the next question. So how do you think the other high-end brands you are currently stocking will feel once you pivot towards focusing on your own brands? Like, do you have your own brand? Do you have a strategy towards that and how you're going to combat that?
So they go hand in hand. So all these luxury brands, in my opinion, will also help our brand because, for example, our brand sits next to Stone Island on the racks. People
Mm.
see Stone Island and they go, "Oh my God, this is amazing!" And then look at our brand, "Oh, this is also amazing." So then emotionally, they'll think we're on the same level, or I personally believe we are, but much affordable price. So moving forward, we already shifting our brands as we used to carry about 80 designer brands. Now we cut it back into 30 to 40 in favor for our own brand. Like I said, the profit margin for our brand is insane. But also, we got to listen to our customers as well. More and more people are now inclined to buy our own brand rather than these luxury designer brands because at the end of the day, they have a much better emotional attachment to our brand than these designer brands that they don't have any affiliation with. They don't know who the founder is. They don't know what the brand's about. So that's what we see the shifts in.
So we're not going to cut their stock or anything.
No,
So
no,
we're just expanding on our brand
correct.
basically.
Yeah.
So every year we're introducing more designer brands. But what I'm saying, just like the stock level of the Cabernet brand would also much increase. Yeah.
Awesome. And they kind of just followed up to that question as well, asking, will you have any stores that just exclusively stock Cabernet Noir, or will it always be a kind of dual situation?
Hmm.
That one for
That's something,
Very interesting question.
you know what's so funny? Like I thought about it all the time. Like, all right, do we put like a flagship store or Cabernet Noir flagship store? That could be something in the works for, say, for example, in a market like Melbourne and Sydney, where there's already other stores that are carrying multiple designer brands there. So I don't see the need for us to kind of carry similar brands to the other stores that are already existing there. That being said, we just saw Harold shut down, so there's an opportunity there too for like other luxury brands. So we might take over Melbourne and Sydney eventually. But I do like having a standalone Cabernet Noir brand store. Look, our business model is quite flexible, and as long as we're opening cool concept stores with different concepts in each region, we can potentially look into that as well.
Yeah. Awesome. That's exciting. I have a question here that says, so you'd mentioned a profit margin within your presentation ranging from 60 to 80%. And the question is kind of just referring to is, would that be gross profit or otherwise?
That's gross profit.
Yeah.
And net profit was still sitting about 60 to 70%. Do you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Because we look at the amount of stock we're producing. Like obviously the lesser we produce, the lesser the net profit. Again, we're a slow fashion brand. We're not a fast fashion brand. We like to increase our profit eventually, but expanding into our market to wholesale, that could also help us keeping consistent net profit in the future.
Absolutely. I guess that's kind of the point of the raise, I guess, to build
Correct.
on.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Inventory, yeah.
And to do the inventory, I've got a question here that says, what value of inventory do you currently carry in each store if you have a rough idea?
Yeah, usually I like to sit around 600 to 800 grand retail worth, so per season, and because we buy 4 times a year. So in the past, I used to overstock, and that's creating a lot of dead stock in the inventory. That's a lesson I learned 10 years ago. I'm like, ugh, this is bad. I just keep buying new brands, but now I'm a bit more mindful. We've got a great team behind it. The merchandiser team will, basically tell me, all right, Eddie, this is how much sand in the sandbox, play with it. Basically,
Yeah.
this, what we work with the finance team. Again, there's a huge potential in our e-commerce. There's a growing increase in our online store as well. So in the future, we do want to increase our inventory for the online store, and that's something of what the capital raise is needed for.
Brilliant. Thanks, guys. Next question is looking into, are you stocking on a sale or return basis, or do you guys sort of cover the full inventory cost coming into
No,
company?
no, it's based on both. Yeah, some of the brands are consignment, and some of them are like basically overseas brand we have to pay. Yeah.
Yeah, like we work with luxury brands, and luxury designer brands need upfront payment.
Yeah.
We basically, there's the way it works is we pay 30% deposit, so then they go into production 6 months before. So for example, I go to Paris now in June, and then I'll see the collections, I'll make the order, I'll pay 30% deposit, and it goes into production. And 6 months later, when they're all done and ready, they'll tell me, hey, your order's ready. We paid 70% of the stock, and then they come in. And it's a different model to when you're buying stock from Australia. We usually in Australia go, hey, your stock's ready. They send it to us and they'll invoice me 30 days later. But a lot of luxury designer brands, they need upfront payment. Again, this is what the money we're going to use for to get more exclusive designers as well.
Awesome. Thank you. Just moving on to the next question, but just to sort of say to everyone on today's webinar, please keep your questions coming in. If you just see the Q&A bubble down at the bottom there, just type them in and we'll get to them. So it's obvious when brands truly keep their customers at the core of their decision making, and I've seen that with you guys, and you kind of spoken about that today. I'd love to know a little bit more about your customer and community and how you keep them engaged.
Our customer community is super, super engaged. They follow through, they DM us, and we do a lot of we do a lot of parties as well. Fashion is it's a lifestyle. So we always liaise with athletes, musicians, and we have listening parties in store. In-store activation is how we bring customers back in.
Yeah.
Also moving away, we notice people are slowly moving away from just shopping online. They like the in-store experience again. We noticed that through sales as well. Like, most of our sales still in-store experience. People do like to come in, touch and feel the fabric, and chat with one of our members, and there's a saying, the way we do our service here is different to everywhere else. We always say, don't try and sell product, try to sell emotion. So we always describe what they're wearing. Hey, look, this is how, like you see in 3 Michelin star restaurant, when the chef comes out, hey, this is produced like this is the ingredients, this is how we cook it. You want you to eat it like this. Same way we do it here. Hey, this material comes from Japan. We cut it like this. We like you to wear it with this. It looks good with the baggy pants. We style them, give them that personal experience. It's testimony. If you see our reviews on Google, a lot of them have that, they love the experience coming in and they love chatting with us. And we get feedback all the time. So
not just that, we will have collaboration with the local businesses as well. So
yes.
Like nightclubs, sometimes they want to do a collaboration or something like that. So we did Hell Davidson's, we did Butterfly nightclubs.
Yeah, we did a bubble tea collaboration just this week, because the boba, we just did a Captain Noir boba because it's fun. And again, we want their fun sort of brand to
that's
to work with.
Engaging.
Definitely. Well, I was going to ask actually, what was your most recent activation or event you did, but it was a bubble tea one.
The bubble tea one, Boba, they're massive, and their branding is super cute. They have like little dogs and stuff, so we print on a tote bag, and we make tote bag that fits two bubble teas on each end. We make reversible jackets, and it's really cool to work with them. They're super, super nice to work with.
Well, the same, even in the investment portfolio, if you see the top tier would be, we will be available for them to collaborate.
Yes, yes. So card holders, if you're the top tier account, we will want. If you have any ideas, this is what we want: building community. If someone, one of the shareholders, hey, look, Ed, I've got this business. For example, one of our partners, they do sort of parties with F1 in Monaco and so on. Hey, can we maybe invite your database or VIPs to our party? Then, if you're a card holder, then you can simply get the invite as well. So again, this is one of the perks. Being part of this brand, we have that sort of network behind us, and we can do a lot of cool things, a lot of fun stuff together.
Definitely, definitely. And just to clarify, that's for kind of the numbers will be outlined in the offer document, but the top tier of investor will kind of get essentially like a black card kind of.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Awesome. Nice. I'm excited. And so just kind of keeping within the theme of Cabernet Noir and who you guys are, can you tell me about your team? Obviously you showed us a quick sort of slide of the team that you've got there and how you guys have grown together.
Yep. So besides us two, we have our CFO. So we have a team that kind of run the brand and just doing the logistics side of things. We have our head designer as well. We have a buying team, which I consult with when I do buying at Paris Fashion Week. That's the fun stuff. The buying is really really fun part of this business because you get to see what everyone's working. Every season we see what's new, what's coming up, what the trend's gonna be. And then we have our design team. This is where we project trends, what's coming next. For example, next season, what's going to be hot. We talk about it with the team, and also we have sales operations, the store bricks and mortar operations. We have a team doing that as well, and we have our online operations as well. So we have an office and in a separate building. We have a design studio and office where we keep all our stock as well, inventory, where we send out all our products to all around the world.
Awesome. Nice. It's a big team of you guys.
Big small team. Ali,
Big,
big small team.
big small team. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
I mean, because I only have to chat with you guys.
yeah.
There's a big small team behind you for sure. We've got a question here that says, how many years since inception have you posted a profit excluding 2019 to 2021, which is obviously the COVID years?
So we're profitable good 3-4 years. To be honest, during COVID years, we're actually quite profitable because we're buying less stock, we're traveling less, less overheads. Literally everyone was just going for runs, and I was the only one in store doing my work, and because we're still allowed to work, and so yeah, so we're profitable with good 3-4 years. The first 5 years is more a lot of my like learning curve for me. I did a lot of mistakes. Like I said, I overbought stuff, even though we were turning over 1.5 at one stage, almost 1.8 in one of the financial years. But we were overstocked. So that's something that I want to refine. Like sometimes higher revenue doesn't mean high profit. So we want to work on it. The last 3-4 years we've been working on post-COVID. That's all been working. Like don't focus on the higher revenue, just focus on the profit, less overhead. So smarter business, cutting back all the fat. Just make it lean. Yeah, I think that's what we're comfortable now with this race. Because we've nailed the blueprint.
Yeah.
No more like dead stock. Let's focus on what makes us the money. Do you know what I mean? And that's how we can scale and focus on the brand. The brand is literally what making us money. Without the brand, we'll probably close 3-4 years ago. Cabernet Noir is what raising us. You see a lot of luxury brands that have the internal vertical brands. They don't have a community behind it, but because we got a community. And you see stores like Kith, for example, they're global. They have their own brand, which kind of keep them scaling to the next level.
Yeah, absolutely. And building on that brand and how impactful that's been. We've got a question here that says, you've been in business more than 10 years. Why do you think you haven't managed to stamp your brand across the whole of Australia? I guess that kind of plays into why you're raising, but given you have exclusivity to many international designer brands, is there a reason as to why you haven't gone further in Australia? And yeah, could you expand?
It's actually our inventory level. It's not that we don't have we sell a lot across over east as well, but 80-90% of our sales straight away gone within Perth community. Perth
Mhm.
people just eat up our brand like immediately. As soon as we drop something, sell out.
Yeah,
So you don't see a lot of visibility over it just because we don't go deep in our inventory. But in terms of the branding, we're actually really big overseas. I'd say we're bigger overseas than in Australia. So if you go to Paris, Europe, and America, they own our brand, which is really funny to see. It just yeah, when you wear the brand Cabernet Noir overseas, um, people recognize you that we have a good brand identity overseas. So we want to expand more on those markets as well over east. I do want to get the Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane people to kind of enjoy more of our brand. That's part of a big thing what we're doing this race for.
absolutely. Yeah, perfect. I'll keep an eye out if I'm ever in Paris or
Absolutely. Give them a hug.
stand up. We have a question here that sort of talks about online sales. So, do you see online sales as the future, considering high street costs are rising for rent?
Yes,
Sorry.
absolutely. When it's done correctly, yes. Online sale, what I've learned the last 2, 3 years is all about assets because now you're competing against all the other e-commerce brands. And there's
Yeah.
so many of them out there.
Mhm.
But you can use them to your benefit. The algorithm's insane. I feel like Instagram really knows you as a buyer consumer. You know, recommend you the right products. So again, if you've done right, yeah. So we see massive potential. And for us, if we don't post anything online, we don't post any ads, the products will sell a little bit slower. So we notice like the quicker way to liquidate the product is by pushing it on online as well.
Yeah. Awesome. And are you seeing more of a rise of that as that as the
Absolutely,
yeah.
we do. And again, I issue stock level because our stock is connected to the store as well. So once it's gone, you know, it's sold out online.
And then
So
as Eddie was saying, it's community basically.
mm,
So we
Yes.
might get the orders online, and then okay, we'll come in the store to pick it up. So we have those kind of customers as well. So
we get a lot of
it's
angry
always good.
customers wanting to buy, and they're just like, "Why are you guys always out of stock?" I'm like, "Look, I'm sorry, I'm sorry."
Yeah. Um, so what percentage of sales would you say is Cabernet Noir opposed to the brands that you stock within store?
So we are seeing it heading close to 50% now, which is insane.
Wow.
When we first started, I was so happy when we hit 20%. We beat Stone Island. Stone Island was our biggest brand. They do about 10 to 15% of our revenue. Yeah, so now Cabernet is sitting close to 40, 50%. I don't know the exact numbers, but I know it's over 30, 40% for sure.
That's awesome. That's incredible to see, sort of the growth journey that you guys have had
Hmm.
with the brand. We have a response here just saying that's a really great problem to have, is always being out of stock. It's very true. And if anyone ha has any other questions, please just pop them in, or if you guys wanted to chat on anything that we haven't covered in this section that you want to go through, please just feel free to jump in. Just to kind of spread your message further that maybe wasn't included in the presentation. But in the meantime, so you mentioned that you started Cabinet Noir at the start of the presentation, and but can you give us a bit more information as the inspiration as to why? Obviously, you guys super fashionable, you're into the fashion, but have you got a bit of a story behind that you can share?
I,
Fashionable.
I hate when people ask I mind fashion, not really. I just love product. Um, initially I was a dancer, I was a professional dancer, and clothing's always been in my passion. And yeah, so working at Foot Locker, moving to Adidas, and I worked at G Star Raw. It's always been something that I wanted to open like a cool store because when you travel around to Japan, New York, Paris, you see cool stores everywhere. And I'm sick and tired of people making fun of Perth and Australia. Oh, Australia's got nothing and Perth got nothing. We're so bogan. Like, look, and now I'm proud that we're one of the fashion capital in Australia. Like our brand is so strong. And even our store is copied by so many other stores around the world, like our
I really
blueprint.
want to come into the store. Obviously, I'm here in Melbourne, you guys are there in Perth.
Yeah.
It looks
Yeah.
so good.
So, like Puma's already told us we're their number one partners in Australasia.
Mhm.
And also we're the top 10 fashion boutiques in the world right now, just because we've been doing it for 10 years. Again, this is through the relationship, through the brands that we've introduced. Again, we were the first store to introduce brands like Off-White, Hella the Meal, 424, Gosha Rubchinski, Martin Rose.
Yeah.
all these designers are now popping up, and now we're introducing brands like Willie Shabaria, which won CFDA award this year. Um, Reintroducing Palm Angels. So we become the platform for emerging and also existing designers. And in the fashion industry, when there's a new upcoming designer brands, what they'll do is like they'll go around and be like, all right, who's the best place to kind of launch the brand in? And we're
Yeah.
always in a top one for Australia. So and that's kind of crazy to hear because we're from Perth. They don't go to a store in Melbourne or Sydney. They always look at Cabernet Noir first,
Yeah.
as the one to kind of launch a brand. That's what happened to Cole Buxton. Cole's like, I want to be in your store. Great, awesome, let's do it. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're taking a big pride in that what we've done the last 10 years.
Yeah.
This is our third concept store. And every 5 years we like to rebrand our brand. Because things is moving so fast now.
Perth is one of the biggest brand which is self-developed by Perth. Cabinet now everyone knows the brand, everyone loves the brand, everyone supports the brand. So
And this is what the biggest thing we want to do with the race. Like, I'm not sure how many of the people attending this webinar is aware of the brand already, but I want to kind of like one of the person who was asking questions, like, why don't you expand more in Australia? Well, I do want to do that more. I do
Yeah.
want to have a more presence in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane. Um, but I do love Perth the most. This is the city I will never leave, right? So that, where that will open up. But that's the thing that we always plan because we do like there's a bigger market in Melbourne City. So yeah, potentially.
definitely we want to
Mm,
make it more international brand coming from Australia. The clothing is not existing.
Yeah.
Bring out
mhm,
the fashion, bring out the trends, And
Guess
well, yeah,
you've grown your stores in Perth. Like you're kind of building that momentum still. When it's right, you'll take it to the next level.
mm, mhm.
I've got a question here from, well, it's a statement from Simon, saying, will the recording be sent around? Yes, it will be. After this webinar, this is being recorded now, and it will be also attached to Cabernet Noir's profile on Birchal, so you can just click through and watch the recording on YouTube. Moving on to the next question. So, is the Cabernet Noir stock ordered for online and in-store separately? For example, is a certain amount allocated to each, or is it kind of
Our
mixed?
system's all connected. So if you sell online from one of the stores, we'll go, all right, we'll tell the store in the say Lorraine Square team, hey, like this stock is for online sales, it's all connected. So we'll communicate that
it's an
internally.
inventory that we're managing. Yeah.
The only stock that is excluded from that is the wholesale. When we start sending the order from different stores, then we'll definitely allocate the stock for those stores who actually place orders for their stores.
So nice, a whole like management system on the back end.
Hmm. Absolutely.
I have a question just in terms of like your relationships with these designer brands. Like, is that through networking at, like you say, Fashion Paris Week? How did Cole Buxton, for example, reach out to you guys? Was it that way round? Can you tell us a bit more information around that?
Yep. Like 10 years ago when I started going to Paris Fashion, they don't know who we are. I literally have to knock on the door, have a presentation, a brand deck, a pitch deck of the store.
Yeah,
But now it's so much easier. They know us for carrying all these brands in the past, like Off-White, Helen Mill, and all that. So they're like, all right, cool, you guys are
just
the store
reputation.
to be. Correct reputation the last 10 years. But to be honest, the network, it's all done through partying, Ellie. Fashion is like about
To do it.
you meet most designers and people at these fashion parties. During Fashion Week, the parties are the most important thing. So we go to do buying. This is how what happens. During the day, we go buying, meetings, and all that. And then everyone goes, all right, there's a party tonight at so and so. Cool, you need invite. Cool, bam. And then we go there, we'll meet other people from different stores and then different brands. This is how the network grows,
Yeah,
basically meeting other people at these parties.
yeah,
Some of them really boring, but hey, that's where you meet people. That's where the work actually is
It's basically
done
a
at
business
nighttime.
network, what you're doing.
Correct.
yeah.
So it's all of the outgoing from Eddie, basically, Paris Fashion Week, and that's why the connection has been made.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, and that's how we're able to bring those brands exclusive to us.
And
Yeah.
also, like we have connections with all the best stores in the world. Like Feature in Vegas is one of our good friends, so they'll usually call me, Eddie, I've got these cool brands you need to look into for your next season. All right, cool. Let's
Yeah.
meet up in Paris, and then let's look at the brand together. And I'll talk to my other friends who own different stores. Hey, so and so, you should check out this brand. This brand's going to be killing it next season. This is how we talk. This is how we predict trends and who's going to be killing in the future in the next collections.
Yeah, I guess there's so much forward planning with who to partner with next and
Hmm.
what to stock. Yeah, Awesome. Okay. Well, we might wrap with that final question. Is there anything that Eddie and Kit, you guys wanted to just say before we close?
No, no, just support us. It's a good brand,
Guys,
cause,
yeah. If you love the brand, if you enjoy the brand, if you want to, we do want to be the next big thing. I see us to grow, similar to what LVMH has done. I want to be like the next big company that really elevate Australian luxury fashion. There's a gap in this market right now, and there's a huge demand for it. And I feel like the time is now. I do want to take our brand to the next level, going to Paris Fashion Week. Once you become shareholders, I would love to invite you to be part of it. You can come to our parties, you can come to these runways, be a part of it, have that sort of ownership with us too. So I would love to meet you individually. So this is something that I want to do with each one of you, not just like through digital. Give me a call, hit me up on Instagram. I'm always responsive on Instagram. So yeah, so as long as it's not nighttime. But yeah, guys, like I look forward to hearing back your feedback and so on.
Amazing. Thanks, Eddie. We've just had a few more questions come through. I'm just
Mhm.
go ahead read some out. So, are you going to be doing a live Zoom feed of the opening store on Thursday?
Yes, I'll probably do something live on the Instagram. Depends how busy we are, but I will be talking to a lot of our customers, our VIPs, and like our friends and family, our friends' family that haven't seen the store. We have a grand opening, grand sort of with a new installation. We want to kind of showcase it on the night as
Yeah.
well. So I'll be doing speech.
lines that we were showing in the
Because the
screen.
power line's gonna be exposed. So yeah, very very exciting.
There'll be loads of story updates, won't there?
Oh,
If you
there'll be a video. We'll
We,
do
we,
like a recap
yeah, we
video for
got a
sure.
big
follow these guys on Instagram, and you'll
Mhm.
maybe
keep
like
up to date with
300 people
everything.
attending maybe, and
Yeah,
anyone from Webner who wants to come, please.
yeah, come down.
Just moving on to this final one. So this has been mentioned before, but just quickly, Eddie, if you could just recap the perks of investing. So you've shown the membership card.
The card.
Yeah.
This is how we build a community. Yeah, read the offer documents. How we get into to get this card. It's all numbered. Right now it's numbered 1 to 100. Yeah, we do want to reward our top investors with a single digit number, kind of like in Dubai, you buy the number plate, so you want to have that single digit. But the perks are you get discounts. So every time you show this card, you get 10% off,
Depending on
online
the
and in
tier.
store as well. Do you know what I mean? And also you become like the top investors will become our affiliates, so they will be our priority in terms of like collaborations or any consultancy if you need sort of brand sort of event collaborations, or and if you want to get into say fashion, we can help you out with that as well. We have the team for it. Marketing, branding, consultancy, I can definitely help all these top investors as well. So these are some of the perks, but um to be honest, we just want to build a community so it can actually meet each one of you from different industry. I know there's like a lot of people coming from outside of fashion. They love fashion, but they want to invest in the brand because they love it. So I think this is a good way to kind of reward people who's actually investing into the brand. Also, we want to give back to you by giving that sort of 10% discount as well. So you always get this, you feel special about it. And we do exclusive parties and events. You just show your card, and with that hassle, you get in.
I'm gonna get a card.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
so great.
Invest, Ellie, invest.
Yeah. We've got a few more questions, so I'll keep rolling through and we've got the
Mhm.
time. So sorry if this has already been covered, but I guess it's just a general question. Are you selling more of a store model or a clothing brand? I'll leave you guys to open that, but we've kind of gone through
Could
this.
be a hybrid both of them. Yeah, in stores would be concept stores,
Ankit,
obviously.
sorry, do you want to come a little bit closer to
Oh,
the...
sorry.
That's
Yeah.
okay. Mhm.
Yeah, no, it's a hybrid of both of the models. Concept stores, online presence. If you are overseas, obviously, we would be focusing more on over online sales. So yeah, it would be a hybrid model basically between both of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. The concept store is a good way to kind of set the mood for the brand.
Yeah.
You know, like if you've seen the last three stores that we've developed, everyone has a different concept, different vibe to it. The next one could be totally different as well.
Mhm.
And yeah, so the brand Cabernet Noir is going to be an increasingly growing brand. Like what we discussed before, potentially we might open a standalone Cabernet Noir store. That's a possibility. We might venture out into hospitality, a villa or a hotel. Who knows? So the brand. So the way I like to think the brand Cabernet Noir always means luxury and conceptual.
Yeah.
So whatever industry we get into, whether hospitality, hotels, or whatnot, it's always going to have that tagline of luxury and conceptual.
Absolutely. Brilliant. And we've got one final question here. It sort of says, do you, as you grow, do you have the capacity to handle that in terms of staff numbers? Is that considered into your plan?
Definitely. Once we get into the higher numbers, we're looking into the warehouse model, logistics. We'll need to maybe hire a third party to kind of help out with logistics and sending orders out.
Yeah.
And that's the way to hit that sort of the higher numbers. We need a proper team who's experienced into sending out orders quickly and properly without any mistakes. Like you said, we're a big, small team. A lot of us kind of have multiple roles individually because we like doing multiple things here. But yeah, once we grow into the higher numbers, we're definitely looking into much bigger expansion into like warehousing and all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. It's small and mighty, the
Hmm.
Yeah.
and I've just got another question here that's come in around sort of return on investment and timing for this. So essentially this is all going to be in the offer document.
Yes.
It's released on the 18th of February in a couple of days. So just ensure that you have registered and expressed your interest into the raise itself on Birchal. And then you'll have early access to the offer document and all the information that comes in that. Um, and then it'll go to the public on a couple of days later after that. We're getting more questions. I'll keep going with the guys. So it says, I think the event side of things in your stores could be a really exciting way to boost revenues as well as with high-end premium live listening parties and events. We will reach out direct, but would love to help partner with you as there you go. You've made a connection there.
Oh,
Thanks,
it's
Cody.
cool. There we go.
International artists such as Ice Cube, Akon, and others would love to help. Love the brand, Ed.
This is what we love. Already building community.
Yeah,
We haven't even started yet, Ellie. This is what we want to hear more.
exactly.
And that's the thing. Like, I grew up like when I started going to Paris, the store that I loved was Colette. And every fashion week, they always have an artist in there doing book signing or whatnot. And there's all the kids line up at the front and what's going on? Like, and that's become talk point of the fashion week. It's like, oh, let's go to Colette because there's something always happening there. And that's
Yeah,
what we want to create here, the community. Make people keep guessing what's happening in Cabaret Noir. Oh, there's a party here. What? There's an artist coming here.
yeah,
So even tomorrow at our launch party, you're gonna see like a lot of Australian cricket players, athletes, NBA players, like basketball players and all that, all coming down. You're gonna see a lot of these athletes getting involved with, and you're gonna see a lot of these the fans gonna like watch these guys being here, and it's cool to see these famous people.
real.
Yeah, we
Oh,
want to
yeah,
say hi to them.
definitely.
Yeah. Absolutely. Awesome. Well, that was great. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Eddie and Ankit, for such a great presentation, and thank you to everybody that's joined today's webinar. So, as mentioned earlier, we will be sending a recording around to everyone in case anybody's missed this recording. And the expression of interest campaign for Cabinet Noir is live for another couple of days. So, if you haven't already, please just jump onto Birchal and check out their pitch video and company profile. The early access offer for the campaign will be open on the 18th of February, so make sure you get your expression of interests in to have access to the documents before it goes live to the public. Got another comment from Cody saying great job. And yeah, guys,
Yes,
that's how we
Cody.
Thanks,
go.
Cody.
Thanks, Cody.
Thanks, everybody.
After this.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a good day, everyone. Bye.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Bye.
guys. Thank you. Bye bye.